So, my dear ones, welcome. Welcome into this great good Sunday as we move into Love Week itself, as some people might call it, or Happy Hearts Week, because, of course, Thursday is St. Valentine's Day. And it is a frenzy this week for people who think that to show one's affection and love, we have to get out there and buy something and so on and so forth, so that we can give something, and on it goes. However, it's far from what the original understanding of St. Valentine's Day was all about, because really and truly what made it very popular was Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. On St. Valentine's Day, they had this custom whereby they would gather all the children, and God knows there were enough of them. They gathered all the children together, and all of them together as a family made little Valentine cards for each other and gave them to each other. And of course, what the royals do, the public is going to follow suit. So people began to do that. And then, of course, the merchant said, "Oh, what a good idea. Don't make those cards, we'll make them for you." And thus it began. And now here it is. It's one of the highest commercial weeks of the year, St. Valentine's Week is. And it's, as I say, a pressure on some of us to feel that we have to do this, that, and the other in order for our loved ones to know that we really appreciate and love them. And it can become a kind of a sort of just a habit and an expectation. And that's not what love is all about, not at all. Now, what is love about? Who knows? We're all in the process of trying to discover that. Nobody yet has said, I have discovered what absolute love is all about. But all of us who are mindful are in that endeavor. It's a mystery. Love is a mystery, and it's always unfolding as we move through this thing called life on this plane. But what happens when you and I are awake enough, alert enough, and practiced enough to fall deeply into a sense and awareness of the divine essence of life, and really begin to feel that we are in this love, not so much in love with it, but in the love itself, then what happens is it takes on this energy and moves us into the practice of the art of love. And it is an art, and like any art, we improve and we improve and we improve and we improve in the art as we are constantly and continuously committed to doing exactly that, to wanting to get on the inside of our art more and more and more. It's something that since time began, the poets are endeavoring to do, any artist is endeavoring to do of whatever kind, whether you're a painter, whether you're a poet, whether you're a literalist, whether you're a dancer, whether you're a singer, whether you're a musician, regardless of what we are drawn to in our journey into more of an understanding and a realization of what love is really all about. And it's been called all kinds of things, like caritas, the Latin for this thing called love, or agape, or agape, as we say in Europe, which is the Greek word for this kind of love that we're trying to understand. And here we just use love across the board for anything, everything and anything, So it could be anything we're seeing splashed on the screens, and so on and so forth. And sometimes the essence of what it really is breaks through and we get it, either maybe in a poem, in a sunset, in a child's eyes, or however, in some ridiculous way at times. You might be just watching some silly thing on a television and suddenly you get it. Whatever way love chooses to reveal itself to us, it does. It really, really does, but only if we want it to. Only if we want it to. But we're told that for anything to reveal its secrets to us, we must get to know it. We must get to know it. When you know it enough, it begins to open up and reveals its secrets to us. So the whole idea is the practice of the art of love. And for us human beings on planet Earth, even when we're committed to that, it can be so very often this terrible beauty, a terrible beauty. Because as we move into unfolding this mystery, we go up the Airy Mountains and down the Rushy Glens and in all directions and so on, and they're not always the best direction for us to take. And so we find it to be something that's playing with us at times. It's not, but that's the way we see it. We even say that to people who say they love us, well, you're playing with me now, you're toying with me now, and so on. But if we keep in the endeavor, if we really want to know it, the only way we can know it is to start endeavoring to become it, to become it, to become it, and practice its art, practice its art. Now, as I was sharing this morning, there's one clue. We get clues along the way, many, many clues along the way. But one thing about love is it is solid, it is steady, it is never changing. It never changes. Its nature doesn't change. It's the one thing all of the time. So it does not change when it altercation finds, as Shakespeare reminds us. It's not going to change, this thing called love, just because I have a hissy fit or somebody else has a hissy fit or whatever. It's not going to change. For love to be love, it will be the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, which means it will, in the face of a hissy fit, it will be itself, it will be the observer, it will be the witness, and it will have no comment on it. It'll have no judgment about it. It just will be here, freely, ready, and available to be practiced again when we come to our senses. When we come to our senses. So in 1 Corinthians 13, Paul spells it out very, very simply. It's so simple that we miss it. So if you and I want to know if we're practicing the art well, we ask ourselves, okay, love is patient. Well, how patient am I? Generally, overall speaking, what kind of a grade would I give myself on patience, you know? How do I do with that? Beginning with myself. Of course, it's always beginning with yourself. How patient am I with myself? Because that will indicate how patient I am with everything and everyone else as well. Okay, love is patient. Work on that. Love is kind. Love is kind. Okay, well, how kind am I? How kind am I to myself, to begin with? And then how kind am I out there in the world? Does that need a little bit of practicing up on the art of that? Kindness. All right. Love is never boastful or rude. Well, how am I doing on that level? Do I boast? Do I brag? Am I a legend in my own mind? And do I freely share that with everybody? You know, am I rude? How often am I rude? I mean, these are questions that we have to ask ourselves because we're measuring ourselves against what is described, part of the key, the secret unfolding to what love is all about. How rude am I? How do I do on that? And then he goes on to say, and love always rejoices over somebody else's good. How do I do with that? When I hear somebody has, you know, some good in their life has happened for them, do I say, well, God, look, I don't know how it happened to them, and it's not happening to me, and I'm a better person than they are, and look at them and what they're doing. I mean, really, what's with that? That doesn't make sense to me. No, we can't go there in the art and the practice of love. If somebody has something good going on, we should be able to say, you know, bravo or brava, well done, more of that to you, you know? And in doing that, you're opening yourself up for, you know, your own good experience. But you have to be able to laud and applaud people and not be envious or jealous of them. Because love is never envious or jealous, boastful or proud, we're told. And it says, you know, love rejoices always in the truth. Always rejoices in the truth. Well, in order to rejoice in the truth, I have to be truth. I have to see truth. And if I don't, I can't do that. So how do I do along that line? And he says, love always expects the best of everything and everyone. Always expects the best. Even when you hear something bad about somebody, you go, oh, well, maybe they just had an off day. I know they're better than that. So it always expects the best. And he goes on if you go deeper down into that passage, he's talking about how love shows up, how love speaks. And he says it doesn't matter if you speak with the most delicious velvet voice or the voice of an angel or whatever, and you're not really loving. He says you're nothing. You're like an empty gong. And he says, look, you could be as generous as all get up. You could really give your last penny away, take the shirt off your back and give it away. He said you could even burn at the stake for some good purpose. But if you're not loving and everything about you is loving, it's useless, it's pointless, it's nothing. So I can tell you, I was exhausted after I examined just that piece. I mean, it's such a high standard. Doesn't let you off the hook at all. So that's why we're talking about practicing the art of love. When you fall deeply into the deeper desire to be that loving presence on this plane and to be the most love-filled person that you can be, it will take you, it will grab you like a dance partner, and it will hold you close, and it will lead you and guide you, because in the dance with Spirit, Spirit is always guiding, and we're always dancing backwards. That means a whole lot of trust is required in the partner that's holding you. And it will lead you. And when it's leading you in the dance of life itself, it will lead you into the steps of resistance to see how you're doing there. And it will help you maneuver through that. And when you maneuver through that, it will lead you into the steps of resentment. And when you handle that, it will move you through into the steps of forgiveness. And when you've handled that, it'll keep moving, and so on it goes. It will keep moving you. And the more you try to get tight and resistant, it will hold you closer and lean deeper into you and move you more powerfully toward the goal, which is unraveling the mystery of love and being that. Now, it is a dance. Life is a dance. There's a song that says, and every day is another dance. But you've got to dance it like you dance the final dance. It's a chance to dance as best as you can dance until eventually you are the dancer. And you and the partner merge and become one energy. And it's a beautiful then flow of one energy, but always in an advancing and moving motion that's expansive and expansive and expansive and expansive. Now listen, if you're not dancing, you're off the floor. And if you're off the floor, you're looking and sitting and watching. And let me tell you, that is no fun at all when you see a pile of people out there dancing, having a great good time, and you're sitting there, bored or whatever. You'd rather be on the floor dancing, even though you tell yourself, but I can't dance and I don't have a partner. You don't need a partner to dance. No one needs a partner to dance. And especially after you've danced sufficiently with the partner, it's one thing, it's one thing, it's one thing. And that's why some people say, well, are there any free expression dances around here? I just like to dance myself. Well, we could arrange that. And you could do that anyway at home. So in this engagement that you and I are in with regard to love, we have to ask ourselves, are we in it consciously? Do we even know we're in a dance and doing all of this? Do we even know that there is this amazing, and that it cannot be named, endeavoring to have you recognize it in a way that you can work in unison with it and be all that you are capable of being with nothing held back. You can be it all. You are it all, and so am I. It's just that we don't know it. And we behave in a way that demonstrates we're so far away from that, you must be kidding. And yet, in the dance of life, in the game of life, we need participants who are going to help us to be the best partner, the best gamester that we can be. We need each other for that. We need to partner each other in this dance of love, in this endeavor, in this practicing of the art of love, which is the art of life itself, which is the art of light itself, which is the art of all that we might imagine godliness, whatever that is, to be. We need each other. But you'll know that you're practicing your art well when we do bump into each other, and we will, when we do make mistakes, and we will. What our response is in that situation, whether I've made the mistake or another has made the mistake, whether I've bumped into somebody or somebody else has bumped into me. I mean, can we stand back, look at it, witness it, and observe it, and make adjustments as are required? And not allow the essence of ourselves, the power of ourselves, to be sucked up in it all. Be sucked up in it all, because when that happens, what happens is energy is lowered. Your energy is lowered. And it's all remembered, and I'll keep reminding us all, life is about energy, energy, energy. Your job, my job, is to keep our energy high, keep our energy raised at least 51%, and we'll be sailing if we get to 51% regularly. Because at that stage, the glass is half full and filling, ready to spill over. Now, when it goes below that, the glass is emptying, is ready to be depleted. We don't want that. We want to keep our energy high. So be with persons, places, and things and situations that keep our energy raising, not sucking it out of us and draining us, you see. There are things that you and I have to do in order to have self-care, both on the inside of life as well as on the outside of life. And that means keep yourself in affirmative situations, keep yourself in energy that is going to inspire you, is going to support you, is going to uplift you. We consequently do not need to be in all these gossip groups and everything else and whatever it is that's going to take away our peace of mind or distort us or disturb us from the nice energy we were in until we had to listen to all of this nonsense going on. And it's a common thing across the board in humanity, that tendency to gossip. Now, gossip is a great good thing if it's on the affirmative side of life. It's a very toxic, poisonous thing when it is on the negative side of life. And let me tell you, if you haven't discovered now or not, just wake up and discover it now and keep reminding ourselves. You do not know anything much at all about the person you're talking about. You don't. Because you hardly know anything about yourself. How can you know anything about the person you are talking about in less than dulcet tones? You don't. You don't know that what you're saying is the absolute truth. And until we know it's the absolute truth about somebody, we need to keep our mouths shut. I mean, that's what practicing the art of love is all about. Mind your own business. It's more than enough. Oh my gosh, just minding my own business is exacting and demanding enough without having to mind anybody else's. So, I mean, it's bread and butter stuff. It comes down to that. It comes down to that. If you speak with the voice of angels and have not love, you're nothing. God knows what the scripture would say if you're speaking off, cuff and not knowing what the hey you're talking about. There's nothing less than you can be than nothing. So I don't suppose it's of any necessity to say what we're like if we're doing that. So let's get it together, folks, especially in this week of love, dedicated to love. And not only just love amongst those whom we love, because the scriptures say, if you love those who love you, what thanks is to you? Do sinners not also do that? I mean, come on. And if you're at work and you're giving a Valentine to a few little people, give a Valentine to everybody so nobody feels left out. Because truth is, everyone is our Valentine. Every single person, like it or lump it, everyone is our Valentine. Whatever you have great power this week. I have great power this week to lighten energy in life this week. I have these little cards I keep in my purse in my pocket, and when I go into places, like if I'm putting the tip on the table, I'll put the little card on it that says something to do with love on Valentine's. It doesn't necessarily Happy Valentine's Day, but it'll have something to do with how wonderful you are or something like that. And I leave that down there with the tip or whatever you want to do that's going to spread the joy, spread the love, spread the light. That's what every day is about. And this week you get to look at it in the face and see whether or not you can be part of that energy force in life that's on the raising of energy side of life and not depleting it. Status quo is no good either. Well, I didn't do any good, but I didn't do any harm either. Yeah, flatlining, you know. When you are a ball of energy, you are a dynamite light. You could, and I could, be raising energy every moment of the day without going anywhere, but just knowing for the world an upliftment, knowing for the world the best and the highest, knowing for the world that it has the power, it has the capacity, it has the intelligence to get it together and to awaken into the realization we're a global community, all for one, one for all, and let's now work together to raise everybody's status on this plane, and to ensure that everybody has the opportunity for freedom and the pursuit of happiness and liberty and all that we aspire to in this great country of ours. Why not? Because that's what we're about. That's who we are. That's what we are. We're a unifying force of being. That's what we're created to be. But in a three-dimensional world, with an egoic mindset, it's not going to happen. It's only when you and I move deeper, deeper, deeper into the life, the light, and the love, and the true essence of being and all being, our being and all being, and practice its art every day, no matter what, that this is going to bring about the change that we all need. Again, as Gandhi says, the only way the world will improve is for you to be the change that the world needs. Now, we can be that change by being more loving, more kind, more understanding, more generous in wishing all well, having goodwill for everybody, and wanting good for everybody, by being careful in the way we interact in difficult situations, by the way we respond in very awkward situations, and so on and so forth. Now, it's up to you, it's up to me, and it's up to nobody else. They are not going to do it, darn it, whoever they are. They're just not going to do it. They can't do for you what you have to do for you, and what you're here to do for all. And so, in this coming week, let us make the most of it. And remember, do everything that you can do, and I endeavor to do everything that I can do to go with the flow of the zeitgeist at the moment. And what it is for February is love and care of the heart, both mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And we're asked to wear red to support healthy hearts in the month of January. And whatever it is that you and I do to remind ourselves of what we're representing and why we're here is a very good thing. Now, together we can do it. And we do need each other. We absolutely do need each other. And when we step on each other's toes, that's the true, there's where love is a terrible beauty. We have to just remember, breathe. Whatever it is you have to do before you launch your mouth, breathe, count, whatever it is, back away from the source, whatever it is. That's what we have to do. So let's practice with small little baby steps so that when it comes to something bigger, it's just automatic and second nature to us to respond in an appropriate manner. And that way, love will reveal itself through you and through me. And we will learn more about what love is through the mirrors we're looking into when we look into each other, because there is no other way. So grab your partner here and get on that floor and dance and trust that partner knows exactly where to guide and lead, and relax, release, let go, and let love be love. by means of you. And so it is, because you can.